Very good evening to each and every one of you out there. Thank you for making time to be with us on our weekly Tuesday shows. Today, I have a very special guest. Her name is Janus. Janus Chan. She's a discovery life coach, and we were just talking behind the scenes for a while, and she was sharing, the whole spectrum of the different, how do I say, life journey she's gone through to finally end up as a discovery life coach. I think it's literally from your experience, yeah, Janice.
Yeah, it's more of that.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So for those of you who stay with us till the end, because Janice has generously will be generously giving away a 60-minute free consultation with her that is worth $250. So stay till the end, and I look forward to the questions that you have for our expert for the night. So, Janice, I just
Yes.
wanted to ask you,
Mm.
how did you become a discovery life coach?
Okay. It's a very interesting journey because I think I love people. I love to observe people. I think I'm a very people person. Yeah. So throughout my job, I have I cannot stay still in task. But I always like to observe people, even my off days, I'll be having probably coffee alone, and then I like to do people watching and yeah, things like that. Yeah. And then so it's like especially during my journey I was a yoga instructor for 12 years.
Wow.
I mean, full time doing it. Yeah. So during that period of time, I met a lot of people, especially I got a lot of corporate classes. So they share a lot of things with me, and I realized that, that's because I meet very different people every time. So and they share with me their life story, and I start to get curious, what's behind them under their professional facet. So I thought it was very interesting. Then later on, I embarked into, I have always been interested in healthcare. Yeah, so I went into healthcare, and you start to see healthcare, you see more stuff. Yeah, you see people who are healthy and people who are not healthy, and they are not there because they like it, it's because they bopian. They need to be there. Yeah. So so from there, I realized that there's a lot of things, a lot of stories behind them. And I had also been a career woman myself, working in the career path. And I, you know, I, from a yoga instructor, then I went back to corporate. I realized I was almost walking their story. Yeah,
Okay.
walking the story. Yeah, because when you listen to the stories, my work, my family, my different roles in life, I've been so stretched and so on. So when I went back to the corporate world, and I thought that could be quite zen. Yeah, yeah, it's like because I've done yoga before, and I thought I was pretty grounded. Then you realize that when things get into you, it's so hard to stop. So I went like a rat race, like I was repeating the story of what I've heard. Until one day, myself, I find that, yes, I'm doing something, but I didn't like certain things, like I cannot find myself anymore. I'm not doing things that I feel I had a calling, because I did. Initially, I was a manager. Then I wanted to be a trainer, so I transferred to be a trainer. Then, when becoming a trainer, I even discovered more stories because I mixed with more people in different people from different walks of life and levels, and then I start feeling that why is it that there are some people who cannot break through certain mindset. Yeah, and because I was also a licensed facilitator for 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So basically, I find, why is it so difficult for people to walk the journey? So, and I realized that actually there are a lot of stories behind it. And I think, I got more interested in that and started to speak to them a little bit more and realize that, inside everybody, there's always this inner child that want to do something, but everybody was so involved in their commitments outside the external, and they forgot to look what's inside them. So, and they became very reactive to situations around them. Yeah. And I admit that I'm one of them too. So, and
Me
that was
too.
right. So there have been a struggle, like, and one day my body just break down. Okay. Yeah, I was like, it was affecting me not only physically but mentally. I become very exhausted. I just dragging to work, and everything around me was, it seems like I need to stop. So I call it a day. And
So was
I
it burnout or
I guess I was
would you
burnt
say?
out. I was burnt
Okay.
out, but and more so is that I think, even though I was a trainer then, but I wasn't. It wasn't my calling. The kind of job that I was doing wasn't my calling. My calling is really to transform people from within. That was my intention of being a trainer. Then, but I realized that training, it only gives people the few days of wow, inspired, motivated. But when you let them go outside to the real world, they probably will they got hype out like for a few days. But if there is no follow up, because you see, probably people live for about 20 to 50 years of their life, the same kind of habit. And what makes us think that, with the 2-3 days of courses can transform them? It needs to become a habit ingrained inside them. So, but I wasn't given the kind of, we don't have the kind of luxury lah. We can't blame the company. We don't have the kind of luxury to do that. And I realized that it's not what I want. I don't want to dump people information and people just say, oh, it's very inspiring course. That's it, blah, blah, bye-bye. But people still go back without transformation. So, so I quit my job, and of course also burn out at the same time. So I started to discover the journey of coaching, and I think that, hey, that's exactly what I want to do. I want people to transform, and also sorry, there's some feedback. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I want people to be transformed. I want to help people to transform, especially those who wants to be transformed. And so that's how I started my journey lah. And I went through, especially when I see my clients started to get transformed within them, and they really excel. They discover their blind spot and the limiting beliefs that they had carried all their years in life. The aha moment, the kind of aha moment where they got it, I was like, yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, I feel so wow. Yeah.
So I get like that's your career. I mean, that's one of the things that energizes you the most in your job. So,
Yeah.
but how long does it typically take for you to help someone discover, their inner calling, like what you called it earlier?
That's a very good question. It depends how much they want it. Some
So
never.
the more hungry they are, the more they pull for it.
Yes.
Even within one session, is that even possible?
Yes, you can even say one session, some of them had an aha moment in one of the objectives that they want. So basically is that, how should I put it? Okay, it is very important during the coaching session. I let my clients know, you are responsible.
True.
I'm not helping you. I only help you if you want to help yourself, because you have to remember that Janus only talked to you for 1 hour. Bye. Then I'll see you next week. And what happened during the week? I can only be your accountability partner. I cannot be responsible, because after that, unless you're going to pay me for the rest of your life, that's fine, But is that what you want?
So I get your heart is more to facilitate so that they learn how to fish for the rest of their lives. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So Okay, so let's enter our topic today.
Sure.
I think you've been through a journey yourself, so first-hand experience.
Yeah.
Why would you say self-love is so critical?
Mm. Yeah. Why is self-love so critical? That is something that I think people know, but they don't talk about it or even learn about it. Now, you just imagine yourself as a vessel or a vase, a vase. You want to pour water out and so that you can quench the thirst for the people around. So it's only when you're full, then you're able to pour water. But if you're not full at all, you're drained. So, how can you give love to people? Because you don't know where's your benchmark. You get what I'm trying to say? So
Yes.
when you imagine ourselves, our emotions, we all have an emotion bank account in every one of us. Every one of us. Now, we have to start depositing it in ourselves first. Okay? So when it grows, we know how it is like to be loved. We know how we want to be loved. Right? Then we have an idea what love is. So when we love ourselves, it radiates. And then can we give out? And we will know that if the person around us is treating us with love or is it an emotional blackmail. Because if once we're empty, we don't know what love is, we just see a floating wood, we're just, this is love, and the person will give the kind of love, their interpretation of love, and you just gladly accept it without having a benchmark to know, is it for you? And then if you do not know how to love, you will think that people want to be loved in your way, which you don't even know what way is it. When you learn to self-love, you learn to respect yourself. You learn to respect yourself. You know when to say no. You know when to say yes. You know how to respect how people want to be loved. So that's why self-love is so important.
I love what you share about even having a definition of love so that we don't settle in life for people and to be used by people, yeah? And I wanted to ask you, so even for the viewers out there, how would you know what are certain symptoms that we can look out for? Because everyone ideally knows what is the right way to love and what are symptoms that, hey, maybe I'm not loving myself as much as I can.
Okay, so for your question, how would we know that we already have it and what are the symptoms that we don't have it? Okay, when we know we have it is that we are able to respect how people want to be treated. Okay, and we also know that maybe it's easier for me to say, how do we know that we don't know? Okay, we don't have it. I think it's easier to work that way. Okay, let's work that way. Okay, right. Okay, so when we do not have any self-love, okay, we will feel that we need people's attention constantly. Yeah, we feel drained and we'll ask ourselves this question. I love you so much. I show so much care to you. If you find yourself saying this, and you're not reciprocating, what kind of person are you? What kind of husband are you? What kind of boyfriend are you? What kind of, maybe your husband, you will go around and say that, oh, our husband will probably be very full already, and I cook soup for you. And when the husband says, no, I'm very full already, and you start saying things like, I spent 10 hours doing this thing.
I love your analogy of the needy partner or the needy, because it's like, if I'm topped up, I won't need to like pull or like suck from someone else, right? In fact, I would then be able to give out of the abundance of the level that I have. Okay, so number one, no neediness. Number two.
And next thing is you find yourself that you see everything as a responsibility instead of love. Like, for example, I'm cleaning this house because, I'm a mother. I want to be, I want to be seen as a responsible mother. I want to be seen, my child to be dressed this way or to talk this way and to go to certain school so that, it's for your own good. It's for your own good. is it for your own good or is it for her own good? You get what I mean? So,
I understand.
it's like,
So is it like for my ego, is for the mom's ego, or is it out of real love to support the child and nurture the
correct.
child?
Correct. So you know when to pull in. Like I give it, it's for your own good that I want you to go to this school. It's for your own good that I make you wear this dress. It's for your own good that I have this career path for you. You know, but that's because you think you know love, but actually because your love is based on what the society sees. Like, oh, if you go for this direction, it is good. But if you know, if you have self-love, you will learn to look at your child, what is lacking, what is the support that is needed. Why do you know this? It's because you have so much love that you know how to accept their weak points, their weaknesses. Because when we don't have self-love, everything we want to do is become like what you say, ego. Hey, I push it is for your own good. But when you know how to self-love, you know how to retreat back. So back to self-love. When you know how to self-love, you know how to retreat back to see that, okay, I think I had enough for today. I need certain respect. Because when you know how to respect yourself, you know how to respect other people,
I think
strengths and weaknesses.
I love what you say about boundaries, like the second point, right? It's like
Right.
not overly burdening myself,
Yes.
but and respecting another individual is recognizing that no two persons are the same and appreciating that uniqueness within the child instead
Exactly.
of having the child doing whatever I say you have to do because I'm your mom, right? Because
Yeah.
then that's not real love, right? That's more
Mm.
manipulation. Huh?
More of that, yeah. So that's when you find that you're very tired of giving, that's when you realize that you didn't have self-love. Now,
So,
mm,
go on.
yeah. So that's what I was talking about initially. What is self-love? Self-love
Yes.
is when you are full of, you know how to love yourself, then you will know how to give out love. Mm.
So viewers out there, on a scale of 0, the emotional tank is 0. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I'm doing everything out of responsibility and obligation. And 10, like, oh, I am so full and I'm able to see and respect an individual for who they are and give them the way they want me to. What's your number? What's your number as of now? So is that 0 all the way to 10? I'll love to hear from you. And so for me now, Janice, to answer you, to
Mm.
answer my own question, I
Mm.
think I'm probably at an 8 because I think this
Mm.
emotional thing, I think it varies through the day. Am I right?
Definitely.
It's not
Yes.
just like, I'm a
Yes.
10 and permanently, but there are things that we can do more and
Mhm.
less of to top ourselves up. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It definitely fluctuates. It doesn't mean that it will always be monotonous because there are times that we are, when we are very tired. So our tolerance span probably got a little bit, yeah, strained. But sometimes it's that we cannot handle the external. So it is very important when we talk about self-love, right? It's like you know what your boundaries, you know what your love, and how do you do it yeah, it's very important because um yeah, it's how you that's when you can know you know your boundaries, your limit, and you know when to pull back. You know that when you're okay, kids, I'm at 8 already, um mom needs to go away. Okay, needs to go away is not to prevent them from being shouted at, but it's you need to pull away to replenish yourself
I
because you
think
need
both
to care
ways.
for you. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
both
but
ways.
I think it's both ways. Number one, number one, we don't shout at the kids. The kids are safe from us. Number two, we actually get to top up. So it's killing two birds with one stone. Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm reading from our viewers. One is a
Okay.
4, one is a 5. I'd love to hear from the others. It really doesn't matter. But I think acknowledging where you are now instead of passively listening actually deepens your engagement in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what's your score now? 0, oh, I'm, empty, bam, bam. And 10, oh, I'm so topped up. And okay, so I wanted to ask you, Janice,
Mm.
is self-love doing what I want? Because, in our Asian culture, it does seem very selfish to do what I want.
Mm.
Where do we strike the balance?
Okay. Um, Asian. So I'll talk about women. Mostly,
Okay.
since our target is moms and women, right?
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot. You see, the thing about Asian culture, or so we think, okay, is that women, okay, when you have a husband, when you're married, remember your commitment is the family first, right? So you have to play your part as a mother, look after the child, and you have to take care of your husband. And because you are a mother of five, I think you understand more than anyone else, right? Yeah. And then for those who are doing career, well, also career woman, you have another commitment from work too,
Yes.
right? And then back home, and then you're with family again. The kids are shouting for attention, and evening, and your husband probably needs your attention, and you're so drained out. At the end of the day, you just go, yeah. Now, we feel that we want to give. So that's the thing. Most Asian cultures are having, and then so that goes back to a self-love mindset. You see, the thing is that we are no longer tied to the past. Let's put it this way. We are open to different kinds of education. We are more educated than our parents in those days or our grandparents in those days. But I realized that the mindset hasn't changed very much. Mindset hasn't changed very much, and it really needs a lot of guts to do it, because there will be a lot of voices, because now I think we are in the kind of a transition in between the Asian, and then to learn to love ourselves. I think that kind of transition is there for women, but there's still a lot of voices that say that, oh, if you go exercise for 1 hour, what about your child? If you don't cook a meal, your child will be short of some nutrition. How will your child be able to grow up healthily and blah, blah, blah? Why do you treat your child to have McDonald's just because I'm tired? Mom, because I'm tired, I don't want to cook. But the thing is that we need to first learn to love ourselves. So our mindset has to be there, that imagine yourself as a tree, like or a vessel or bank account. If you're dry up, how will you be able to be stable? Okay, so I always see that having a self-love mindset is like a tree growing very deep roots, right? If you don't have deep roots, you will not be able. You will be reacting to the situation and not responding to the situation. And then because of different kinds of voices in us, so we have to make a stand, right? Are we, make a stand that, do I want to hear other people's voice? Are we bothered by the other opinions, what people say? Okay, so if we choose to listen to what people say, then that was your choice. That is your choice to be influenced by the external factors. That we cannot change, but we can make an intention to change how we want to respond. Now, I always like to say this to a lot of my participants and clients, is that there's always a choice, even if it's a choice of attitude, even if it's choice of action. You can choose to say that, look, I need time out, okay, for myself. And you can have a lot of people say, talking about it, oh, blah, 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 selfish mom, selfish wife, whatever, selfish daughter-in-law. But if you choose to set a boundary, and you are able to just say no, okay, learn to say no, people more or less will learn to respect their boundary. And then when you are inside that boundary, to either spend some time yourself, which I always encourage my clients to do, is go for a walk, just listen to some music, chill in the bath, go for spa, go for facial, and you realize that your mood will change. Your reaction to, when you're very tied up, you see your kids screaming, you also feel like screaming, right? But when when you're in a good mood, when you see your child scream, you'll say, "Oh, it's so lovely. They got voices." It's a different reaction because it's all
Yes.
coming from within. So when you start to learn to set the boundaries, yeah, so that's how I see that it will help to change the situation.
I love what you share about not listening to the external voices and listening just to us, ourselves, because it reminds me when I was a very young mother, I didn't know how to be a mother. I was told that I cannot leave the home for 1 month, but that did not make me happy. So I chose not to listen to the voices. Yeah, I can. And what I
Yeah.
chose to do is literally to go outdoors because I live by the beach there, put the baby in the pram and rollerblade, and just that half an hour out there, right, really taught me up emotionally, and I think that's how, even with 5 kids, I never fall into depression because I think unknowingly, I do take time away for myself, the hell with what people will say, right?
Yes.
And I do what I know makes me happy, instead of
Yep.
doing all the obligatory responsibilities. Yeah. Okay. So one question I have for you, because you talk about drawing boundaries and time, right?
Yep.
What would you say to a mother with a young child? Because typically a young child is almost 100% dependent on the mom, right? Nursing, the mother has to nurse the child, the mother has to carry the infant. And how would a young mother actually find time for herself?
Okay.
Any pointers on that?
Okay. I
Or
think
is
this.
it not just limited to time? Are there other things that she can do?
That's a very good question. Also, I think it has to be a family affair. Okay, having a child is not just the mother's responsibility. It's
Hear
a
that,
whole.
viewers? Tell your whole kampong, tell or your extended family, tell your husband, tell everyone at home, including the other siblings, right? I believe the other siblings can help too and should.
Yeah. The thing is that women now, we are all multitaskers. Men are not, right? Not really lah, I think. But I think when you become a mother, you automatically become a good multitasker. But it's proven in science and psychology that women are better in multitasking than men. Yeah, but the thing is that sometimes, especially when we have a child, the maternal instinct is very strong. So we want to cling to that child, but actually unknowingly we are zapping our, the energy is out, and then we may it may affect somehow our relationship with the husband, right? Because the husband also, where's my wife? Where's my lover? Where's my girlfriend?
Gone.
Fully
Playing her mother role now.
but yeah, hello, you are supposed to be father, so behave yourself, okay? By the time you want to have your intimate time, and then I'm so drained, forget it, please. Yeah, so it is very good to actually sit down and with the family, but you have to really make an intention as well, because I think it's harder to come from the mother herself. Is not so much on the rest of the people. Yeah, so you have to make an intention and say that, okay, I need to play the role as a mother, and I also need to pull out some time, to be my husband's wife, my husband's lover, my husband's girlfriend, and I need to be me. Yeah, because I need time out as well. So it is very important to, even before the birth of the child, and or if you already have it, a bit too late, right? You have it already. Sit down and discuss with the roles. I would like to have some time out. So do a plan, a schedule, a plan each day. It's not that you need the whole day, but probably like a 15 minutes. Like, let me just take a breather. Maybe I'll just go for a stroll, right? Without the baby. Okay, maybe we can leave it to the helper or our in-laws, our parents, and then just spend 15 minutes, just hold hand with your husband, right? Hold hand with your husband. Just hold hands. I'm not asking for anything. Just hold hand and just stare at because that intimate of holding hands, if it leads to something more, great. If it doesn't, but it reminds you of the bonding that both of you have not as a father and mother, but as a husband and wife, as lovers, so remind it back. So that moment, and then have something, chat something, talk about something, not relating to your child. You can do that. You can have a time to talk about it, but how do you feel? I love you, darling. Yeah, I love you too. Oh, I mean, maybe we are not used to it anymore because, with the child around, but make it intention. It may sound a little bit off already. Sometimes I find that parents, once they become parents, it's quite difficult to say, I love you. It's like, hey, so and so, daddy. And very important, please don't say, if your child's name is Johnny, and hey, Johnny's daddy, hey, Johnny's mommy, but please address the name. Yeah, I think that people forgot, and then they start to it program in their mind that they are daddy, I am mommy, and they forgot.
I love what you share, because I think very often for a lot of parents out there, young parents especially, the new role of being a parent seems to encompass everything and overshadow everything.
Yeah.
So instead of my husband's name or a pet name, I call him like darling or dear.
Yeah.
It becomes so. I fully agree with you, and I think keeping the name of the father helps anchor us in, hey, I am first a woman, a wife, and then the child came along, right? Not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other question that I want, and viewers out there, if you've got any questions, just type them in with regards to how do you love yourself more, or any challenges you face. Okay, so I have one here. We live in a very modern society. So how do we separate work life from family life?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I am going to quote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the habits by Mr. Stephen Covey, but of course this quadrant doesn't come from him. It's a habit. One is to first things first. Okay. So what is first thing first? A lot of times when we are reacting to problems, right? We are reacting to things that are urgent and important. Oh, the phone calls comes. Okay. Tomorrow the kids is going for injection. Oh, let's look for the card, the vaccination card. I don't think they use card anymore lah. Used to lah. And then we keep rushing. But how about planning? I'm a big fan of calendars and schedules. So I cannot live without my phone, my planner around, and I work around with it. Yeah. So what I think I would suggest to parents to do, even for myself when I have my work-life balance, is that on Sunday night, this is what I always do. It's my time out. Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll sit with my calendar, and then I will, and also have a piece of paper and write down what do I need to attend. What are the big rocks, the most important thing in my life? So what will that be? Okay. To give a guideline. Firstly, physical. Okay, physical, mental, emotion, and spiritual. Okay, so 4. I categorize into 4. Yes, sorry, sorry, guys.
Spiritual, I need to see physical, mental, and emotional. I get that.
Yeah. Okay, so physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. All right. So physical. So what are the things that we need to look out for physical? Well, you need to eat healthy. If you can't eat, sometimes you need to have gathering with friends. So I schedule my appointment with friends. So I'll schedule 2 or 3 nights with friends, and that's it. Because other days I want to eat healthy. So how many days I want to cook? Yeah, I plan. Yeah, plan for that. And then exercise. How much time do you exercise? And I fix a time and a time slot every day. The same timing, 8 o'clock is my time for exercising. And I will block that out. No matter how the phone is ringing, how everyone is screaming, I block it out. And when I was working, I actually wake up at 4 o'clock to do that, 4 a.m. So that means I sleep early. By this time, I should be sleeping already when I was in the corporate. Yeah, because I start work at about 8:30, so I make a point to wake up at 4 a.m. to do my ritual. So so I block out the time to exercise. I block out the time to to eat well, okay, and to eat out. And I also block out time that by what time I need to switch off and need to sleep. So I share with you when I was working in corporate, 9 o'clock. So that's physical. Mental. Now, mental is something that, I need to, I love learning and upgrading myself. So reading, a lot of people feel that I have no time to read. I have no time to read. I have no like time to take course. You make time. So that's when my first week, I will start to block out the week, the time that I will spend time to read. Okay, even for 5 minutes, that's fine. One page or two, that's fine. Yeah, or even one chapter if you want. At least you're making progress. Okay, mental. And then the course A, I find that there's a course that's very interesting. Should I block this time out and I will just go for the course? Emotional, that will be something that I'll look in, what makes me happy, I want to pamper myself. So maybe that I feel that I want to pamper myself to do manicure. Right? I want to do something nice that brings me joy. Okay, of course that that attends to our physical as well, right? Because we look nice. So I'll just sit there, be very girly and just do something that makes me happy. And spiritual, I'll also spend time, for prayers or meditation, which is very important for me because that is something that grounds me and spiritually. And when you are grounded, you will be, because that's the very inner, the most inner part in us that we often ignore. So once we are meditating and we pray, okay, we are very mindful of what is going on around us. Yeah. So that's how I feel that, this is what we can do. Look into these 4 factors. So I plug all these things into the calendar. It may sound like a mouthful, plentiful, but the thing is that you don't need too much time. You just need 5 minutes. You just need to block out those times. That's all. Yeah.
I love what you share. I love what you share about the inside out. So starting, first with the spiritual and then the emotional. So to all you viewers out there, if you know, I would love to hear because what makes Janus happy is manicure. I got almost no fingernails. So, but what makes me happy is things like bak chor mee or, even just a cup of coffee with foam. But I realized that a lot of, like even starting with my daughter, a lot of us have lost sight of what really makes us smile, and it could be flowers for you. And different people are different. So viewers out there, I would love to read what makes you smile. For now, just stop for a bit and just reconnect with your inner self because you know what makes you smile. Whether it's exercise or whether it's cycling or whether it's hugging a loved one. So I look forward to read. And Janice, like what you said, I think it so reminds me of like even the body and the mind, because Warren Buffett, what he says, I mean his 4 tips, right, would be self-care, because we all only have one mind and one body. After this breaks down is game over. So to nurture our mind and our physical body is critical in going the distance, the marathon. Yeah, besides like what you said, the right relationships and giving unconditional love, which is covered in the emotions. Yeah.
I won't say that we will have unconditional love. Let's put it this way. Okay. More or less, all of us, our love has certain conditions somehow. Unconditional love is like, even like you do, girl, it'd be great if you score like 90 marks instead of 80. Conditional love. Yeah, I mean, there are some more or less down there. But what I'm trying to say is that when you do your self-love, you learn to respect. That's all. Yeah, you learn to respect because you know what you want, you know how you don't like, and then you know that there are some things you need to say no, even to people, even to reject certain people out from your circle. You can't accept everyone in, So when you start to set boundary, be prepared that there are some people who will love you even more, respect you even more, and because they know that, wow, this person, she knows what she wants. And everybody is attracted to people who know what they want. You realize that. But people who don't know what they want, they feel that they're giving all, but the thing is, they'll be taken for granted somehow or other, or at least that's how they feel. But if a person with self-love will not feel this way, just, okay, well, I'm sorry that we didn't click, but, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's part of a chapter. But there are some people, I'll say that when we learn how to self-love, we will attract the right person into our lives. And then our husband, and I believe our husbands, when they first see us, how we are, they love us for who we are in the first place. But a lot of time is that we forgot we become mothers to them. We better give. Right? When they're pursuing us, right? They'll go like, oh, darling, what do you love? What do you like to do? And then, when we become wives, we forgot. And we said that, oh, yeah, what would you like today? Okay, I'll just have whatever you want to have. And yeah, sometimes people just tend to forget. But when we know how to say, hey, hello, I'm a princess, I'm a queen, so then they will start to like, oops, okay.
I love what you share, because I think when I first got married, I think I unconsciously thought that it was my husband's responsibility to make me happy. So whenever I'm not happy, I'm like, oh, and then sulking and pouting. But as I grew in maturity, really, I got that the only one person responsible for my happiness is myself lah. And when I actually got that, it was so much more empowering, because it didn't matter what anyone else was doing or not doing. I was fully empowered to make myself happy. And that meant that I was happy most of the time, because it's really up to me, right?
Yeah,
And then no more excuses, right? And then I think the mindset completely shifts to a next gear.
Right.
Let me just read what some of our viewers are saying. Nahid says, dancing, talking to my best friend, going to my favorite parlor team. I love what she said about talking to my best friend, because I think there's also that community, that a lot of us tend to forget, and then Lini says, reading, praying, listening to worship song, and then getting a bouquet of all colors frequently. Yeah, so so ladies, whatever makes you happy, like what Jenny says, feel free to tell that to your partner. Like one of the small things that makes me happy is foot massage, right? And I tell that to my husband, and it's up to him whether he wants to do it or not. And I'm happy to say and blessed that he obliges, or not obliges, but he's found joy. I think maybe there was a period he obliging, but after a while he finds joy in giving, because when I'm clear about, hey, this tops me up, and with no expectations, it then frees someone to not guess, but be able to actually top us up if they want, right? It's really up to them. So, another one says, I just need a holiday break from my family. Then go ahead. I remember when my kid was, my infant was, I think, 3 months old. My husband and I went on a two or three day cruise, and we left the baby with our in-law. So you know what? Go. Because when you come back, your emotions and everything about you is so much more topped up. Like I was sharing with Janice earlier, right? Instead of like long gao zui or, dirty drain water pouring out of me, when I take time to refresh myself with pure spring water, at least I don't poison the people around me,
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so in closing, is there any, lazy hacks for the busy person? Any small things they can do? I mean, we've covered quite a lot. I love what we've covered, emotional, physical, spiritual, mental. But, for someone who, because like what you said, right? All this is all a mindset shift. So for the viewers out there who are just listening to us, for this short segment, what is something that we can give them to take away? Yeah,
Okay.
Janice?
I think it's important that it's an affirmation that we have to declare to ourselves. This is the simplest hack that I would, recommend to most people to do it, because it doesn't takes any effort. You can do it when you're brushing your teeth or when you're washing your face. After that, when you clean it up, and you just have to. I do this mantra, okay, especially when I felt very drained. I'll just look at myself in the mirror and just repeat this 10 times. And I don't mean run through it, like, no. I will tell myself, I love and accept myself. This is the speed. I love, so I put my hands to the heart. Okay?
Viewers, if you're out there, let's just give this a shot, yeah? Put your hands on your heart and own the words.
Yeah, and just say that I love and accept myself. So when you do this, look into the mirror, look into your eyes, and say it sincerely, genuinely. Okay? Don't do, I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself. Okay, you're not respecting yourself. You look at the mirror as if you're talking to a lover, because you need to love that. So even when your mind is not registering it, but when you say it, you send the message out and the vibration out, the energy out, right? And it also goes inwards to register that in your brain. And I suggest this, especially for those who are so drained out, from your responsibilities. Say that to yourself, and it doesn't even take 5 minutes to do it. All right, you just finish brushing your teeth, cleaning your face, look at the mirror, and just declare. I would suggest you do that in the morning, because we want to have that mindset. When we repeat that 21 days, 21. My mindfulness coach used to ask me to do it for 21 months, okay? So 21
Wow,
days.
okay.
And you lose it, you repeat that again, 21 days. So say that to yourself every day. Now, if you miss a day, please repeat it. Why is that so? Because for this kind of habit, and to let this thing get into you, you need to form it as a habit. And you need 21 days to form a habit and to form the mindset, to get it inside your head. So it's very simple. Just say, I love and accept myself.
For all you viewers,
accept myself.
For all you viewers out there, if you actually tried it when, I suggested us to, I would love to hear whether there was a shift for you. Yeah. Okay. For me, I was actually doing it when you said, and even though I don't have a mirror in front of me, I got present, because that's something that I believe as well. I got present in just saying the words, right? It made me love and accept not just the good things that I like about myself, but also the negative, right? Like, now I look horrible, or I'm exhausted, or I just, no, example. But,
Okay,
but as I say it, right, it's an affirmation that, what? My love for myself goes even deeper than just physical, even deeper than just emotional. And as I allow myself to top myself up just by that simple 4 words, right, that you just shared, I literally felt a shift. I mean, I know, like, as you were sharing, I was just saying it twice, but I think, like what you said, the magic is in owning the words, because when I own the words, it's like it just washes, like a wave over, to just affirm that, hey, I'm not perfect, and I love and accept myself, because I think too often we judge ourselves so much.
Exactly. You got it. It's like, I love and accept myself. It's not the good things, but the bad things about ourselves, because everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. And we were taught in this society to learn to embrace strength and, and shun away our weaknesses, negative. But we need to acknowledge that these negative feelings are also part of us. When we learn to accept that it's part of us, okay, and we will learn to also accept other people's negative moments as well. So this is self-love.
I love what you write, because in my book, The Naked Parent, I talk about authenticity in the first chapter. So I talk about, owning our dark side, or our shadow, because we live in a world of duality, where there's yin, there's yang, where there's north, there's south, where there's hot, there's cold. And rejecting one part of it is not holistic. It's not complete. In fact, it causes us to see the same faults in other people. But when we embrace our imperfections, is where there's more graciousness and magnanimity to say, you know what, at the end of it, I'm not perfect. And then our how do I say, not just tolerance or acceptance, but it really widens and broadens.
Can I share a little bit on the yin and yang?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The symbol of yin and yang, right? It's okay. In Chinese philosophy, yin and yang, you see, it's like they interlock each other.
Yes.
Why is it not a straight line? Have you ever thought of it? You remember, it's like two tadpoles, right?
Yeah.
It's not. Why is it not half? Okay, because it's always in motion and in movements. Okay, it's always the black side. The black is yin, the white is yang. So every time, right? Actually, the yin and yang are always in motion. Okay, so sometimes when the dark side, if it gets a little bit too much, that means we have too much yin energy in us. Okay, so what do we need to do about it? So we need to energize the yang and reduce the yin. So, and that goes vice versa. And why is it? Have you ever thought that, Junior? Maybe I can ask you. Why is it that the white has got the black inside, and then white, the yang has got the black spot, and the yin has got the white spot? Any idea?
For balance lah. I mean, the first thought that comes to mind is within every darkness there is still light inside, and within every light there is darkness. So it's not like the world is not as clean cut as our mind would like it to have, but nature is
Yeah, exactly. You got it right. Everything is not clean cut. That's why it's not cut half into center. You see, it's always in movement. It's always in movement. And I love this Chinese philosophy. This theory is because it forms the whole Chinese culture. In terms of maybe some people didn't know that I actually studied a degree in traditional Chinese medicine. So that describes our body condition as well. There's always the yin kind of sickness and the yang kind of sickness. And this talk about theory in the philosophy, the way of living, how a person's character is like, even the way what we eat, whatever we eat, and how our body constitution is always consists of yin and yang.
I so love this. I mean, like, I love this because I think at the end of it, it's coming into harmony, and how, balance is something that keeps moving. And that's energy, right? Particles in motion all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So we have reached the wonderful end. And for all you viewers out there, if you enjoyed this session and you want, Janice is giving a free consultation, 60 minutes worth 250. All you have to do is just type I want, IWANT, and then she will just pick one person for a consultation so that she can better understand where you are today and take you on your true calling and your inner purpose, so you find clarity. Am I right, Janice? That's what the session will be for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in this session, what I'll do is, if you want to share something and you want to discover about yourself and you want to know that what is stopping you from having self-love, or you are stuck at certain emotion and you do not know why, there's always something that's blocking you from moving forward. Yeah, so for me as a discovery life coach, and some people call me the mindset strategist, okay, I will walk you through, okay, to help you to unblock your blind spots, because there are certain things that we don't know. Yeah, so during this facilitation, I will facilitate the conversation so that I can help you to find your answer. And then, yes, I hope you are like my client as well, to get an aha moment out from there.
Yes, and for all you Asian, especially viewers out there, sometimes I mean, this is something that I want to put out front. Sometimes we want, but we don't dare to type I want because we feel like, no need, like it's okay. But maybe just typing the two words I want will literally break your old habits, because that's something that you want, and to be unashamedly putting up your hands and say, hey, you know what? If it's for free, then bring it on. And that could start a whole process of just rewiring your mindset. Yeah. So thank you so much, Janice. And for all you viewers out there, I look forward to joining you this Thursday on Mom's Confessions, where we talk about, as we continue this self-love theme, on have you ever lied to your husband, or even to your friends around you? So that will be juicy conversations with another mother. Until then, I thank you so much for being with us, and I see you either Thursday or next Tuesday. Have a good night.